Good people, karibuni sana. This is the People's Court. The court is in session. Now let's look at this a little bit. The Constitution calls impeachment the ultimate remedy for leaders or against leaders who betray the public and the public's trust. But across Kenya, we're starting to see that impeachment is beginning to be a divisive aspect. Some people would say, some experts would say, it's one of the divisive tools against devolution and against county politics. We want to find out tonight, is impeachment as it exists in Kenya still about accountability and oversight, or has it become something entirely different? Is it a shield for democracy and devolution and the rights and dreams of the people of Kenya, or is it a sword to be used in political skull and dagger operations? This is a question that we want to ask tonight. And to help us understand this is an interesting group of people. Allow me to introduce them as follows. From my left side, first but not, of course, premier is Dr. Moses Mwangi, who is a governance expert. Dr. Mwangi, karibu.
Thank you very much and good evening.
Asante. Then we have Mr. Michael Agwanda, who's a political analyst and wears many hats, but today we'll call him political analyst. Karibu.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the Honorable Douglas Mbilu, who is the Speaker of the County Assembly of Makueni. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Greetings. Welcome to TV 47.
Asante sana. Next, we have the Honorable Isaiah Mbogo, the MCA for Kabare Ward.
Thank you and welcome.
Karibu sana. Next, we have Dr. Eric Bett, or the Honorable Dr. Eric Bett, who's joining us from Kipchebor Ward in Kericho County as the MCA.
Thank you, and happy to be here tonight.
Asante sana. And of course, we have the Honorable Kiogora DMK joining us from the Abogeta West ward, and who also serves as the minority whip of the Meru County Assembly. Karibu sana.
Thank you and good evening.
Asante sana. Now, we also have with us a number of people here who have insights and perspectives that they wish to share with us. Among them are actually aspiring politicians and youth leaders, starting with Mr. Martin Fusa, who is an aspiring member of County Assembly for Umoja 2 Ward. Martin.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana. Karibu. Next, we have our First Lady of the evening, Faith Musau, Deputy President of something we call AXAP. I believe she'll tell us more about that. Faith, karibu.
Asante sana. I'm so much honored to be here today to talk about the current state of the nation that has been happening, especially the impeachment part.
Karibu.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Karibu. Next, we have Boniface Shimwati, who's joining us from Isuka South, where he is aspiring to lead the people of that great ward as their MCA. Karibu. You're welcome. And we have Madam Eunice Wamboi Kirohi, who again has many definitions, but she chooses to introduce herself to the country as a revolutionary. Karibu.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Karibu sana. We also have Mzalendo Fadi Omar, who's a youth leader. Karibu Fadi.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have George Kamau Mutua, who's a national youth reformer. Karibu sana. Where's George? Where is George? George is missing in action, or rather he decided to reform his attendance. We have Ian Obongo, youth leader, absent as well, goodness. And Victor Wambua Mutua, who's a youth leader.
Yes, thank you, and looking forward for a meaningful conversation. Thank you.
All right, and for the two that we haven't introduced, would you care to tell us your name and where you come from, please? Please, your mic is off. In the meantime, let's hear from the gentleman at the corner.
Thank you very much. My name is Collins Kiprotich, all the way from Kericho County, represent the great youths of Kipchebor.
Karibu, Collins.
Okay, I'm Fedi Omar, the Standing Kangem Central Ward MCA.
All right.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, we need to get straight into this. We want to understand, was impeachment, has it achieved what it was actually meant to achieve, or is it being misused? And I want to bring in Dr. Mwangi, of course, as a governance expert. You know, they say impeachment was supposed to be a shield of the people. From a governance perspective, has it strengthened accountability or has it weakened county stability, sir?
Thank you very much. A very important topic. Impeachment is supposed to be a last resort when there is a serious violation of the norms that have been established by the Constitution in the governance of our nation. But what we have seen so far in Kenya, impeachment is a joke. There is a way in which it has been diluted. There is a way in which it is even being used as an economic venture by people, because along the way, as governors and other people fight the impeachment, there's a lot of exchange of money and other things, and eventually you don't even know what is right and what is wrong. So it's very unfortunate. It's a very, very important tool of governance that is supposed to strengthen our institutional framework and to make people who are in position to stay on the straight and narrow. But at the moment, what we see since 2013, all the way, especially in this current era, there are just too many impeachment motions across, and how many of them are seeing going right to the end? Some governors have been taken to the Senate, not once, several times, and what we get to see is deal making.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Help us understand something. From what you've said, would you give us an example of a county where, like you say, it's supposed to be a last resort, yes, but would you give us an example of a county where impeachment has done what it was meant to do, and another county where it has failed spectacularly?
When we look at, I think, Nairobi City County, there was the impeachment of flamboyant Mike Sonko.
Right.
And clearly, in terms of what impeachment was supposed to be, if you ask me, I think, and I think if you check the opinion of the Nairobi residents at the time, I think there was a need to have that motion go and conclude. In my view, it did what it was supposed to do. We can also look at Kiambu County when we had the impeachment of the governor there. When you look at the issues that were on the table, the issues that actually went all the way to the Senate, right from the MCA level to the Senate, I think there was a way in which, at the end of it, you would say it did what it was supposed to do. Right. In other places, we have seen impeachment motions coming from. We had the Wambora motion in Embu, whereby several times Governor Wambora was taken through impeachment. None of it saw the light of day, and it went on, and actually it strengthened Martin Wambora. He was re-elected again and served a full term. So you can actually see there was a disconnect between the movers of the motion and the people. And if you think about it, I think in that situation, right, it was not being done in the right way.
I see. And I think I'd like to, in the course of this conversation, I'd like to get into why some of these motions failed. But let me bring in Mr. Agwanda. Kenya has seen a spike in impeachment motions, say, over the last 5 years. From where you sit, is it truly oversight? or is it political and electoral positioning for 2027?
I want to thank you for this opportunity to be here first. And also, I'm glad that we have members of assembly here, of different assemblies in the country, and also a speaker of the assembly.
Right.
Because these are the constitutionally mandated individual to carry the oversight role, to develop the laws that governs the county, and also to checkmate on what the executive are doing, and that is the governor and his or her cabinet. And they are also the people that are mandated to receive petitions from either their constituents or wards that also culminate into discussing the conduct of the governor or any other employee in the county for that reason. And therefore, the Constitution gives them the power and the mandate to do that. And once they petition the Speaker of the County Assembly through the majority, then they can have a debate and then vote on it. Quite often, what is happening with the impeachment that we are having today is that the impeachment are done on an emotional matter. And sometimes it could be a very emotive issue, and that really need methodical, thorough examination, collection of evidence, a collection of witnesses, and documents before that time. But sometimes they are whipped emotionally by whoever is presenting the impeachment motion to a place where they do not ask the critical questions before they get into the voting place. And I think that has been the biggest undoing of the impeachment motions that we're seeing in this country. And then subsequently, once they impeach, they have a few days, they have to go to the Senate. And then once they go to the Senate is going to be like a court, like where we are today. And the Senate takes the responsibility of the judicial system within that confine of listening to the evidence and picking the evidence and witnesses and then bringing them over. From the theatrics we've seen within the Senate, especially on the impeachment base, you can see that there's a huge problem about a number of our MCAs in this country. Some of them are hugely illiterate, and by the way, they're the ones who will be brought to be witnesses. And it's embarrassing. You can see that it's a strategy that is actually going to cushion the governor to go home, because even the way they handle their cases, it's not in any way professional. And I say that not to mean that all the county assembly members are illiterate. A number of them are well educated, but most educated ones are actually sidelined and sometimes ridiculed as they know so much and they're not even supposed to be there. We have a case in point, I think it was in Meru, where we had a county assembly member who could not even read, subjected to a court process, given a newspaper to read, and he read it, upside down, literally. So what we're saying is, how do we then have this representation within the county assembly? When you have some few dunderheads in the county assembly, and I can tell you that some of them are, not in a bad way, but this is the reason why it doesn't get to that level, because they don't think about the matter before they vote. A gentleman went to the Senate recently and said, this Kamulika thing, I don't know how I voted, I don't know how, he doesn't even know the process on how he voted for that reason. And then, of course, this is the evidence you want to rely on. This is the witness you want to rely on. And so I think the problem is we are not having, the governor is making sure that they have dunderheads as, not all of them, as what I call majority leader and the whip, and then they also sometimes have a dunderhead speaker, and then they are controlled like a remote, literally by the executive, because they know the majority cannot present anything reasonable, and especially where you have a majority that perhaps did not go to school well, is not able to scrutinize document and understand the document, but still moves this thing into a discussion within the county assembly. That's where we're having the cracks.
I see.
As to whether it is necessary, I think it is hugely necessary, because some of these governors are thieves, and the only people who can oversight and take them home are the county assembly. Are they organized to the place where they can collect evidence, as I said, and come back, be able to present them, be able to have witnesses, and then vote? If they did that, perhaps we will be seeing a lot of governors going home than what we are seeing in the Senate.
All right, and it's good that we have one of the speakers of the 47 county assemblies in the country, Honorable Mbilu. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
As Speaker, and I think this is a point the first two gentlemen have raised, how do you guard, as a Speaker, how do you guard against what might be called frivolous or politically motivated motions?
Thank you very much.
First of all, even before you say that, just a quick one. I noticed as he was talking about the mental abilities or the faculties of some of the people involved and the terminology of dunderheads, I noticed you had a facial expression. Can you decipher that expression for us? What was that about? And then as you tell us how you guard against frivolous or politically motivated motions.
You're right, and that's where I wanted to start from.
Yes, please.
Firstly, all elected leaders in the Republic of Kenya are elected on the basis of majority. So for anyone to find himself or herself as a leader, it's a product of an electoral process. Therefore, as to whether that is a dunderhead or not, is subject to a vote. Many graduates and PhD and, they presented themselves, they did not win. Number two, most of the people who are messing this country elected in office are PhD holders, master's degree holders, and graduates and bachelor's degrees, who are proven to be more incompetent at dunderhead the leaders who've been elected more than 4 or 5 times. So I tend to disagree on the relationship between education for purposes of attaining qualification in a secondary school, university, or acquiring a PhD vis-a-vis the ability to lead, to represent people, where you are facilitated with technocrats to enable you to legislate, oversight, and implement government policies.
All right.
Having said that.
Just a quick one. Yes or no? Mr. Gwanda, when you talk about dunderheads, are you talking about education or are you talking about intelligence?
When I talk about dunderheads, I'm talking about being able to comprehend a document that is before you, present it in a manner that's likely to be understood by the people, not just by the electorate, but also by the elected leaders.
All right.
And I say this with great knowledge,
right,
that it is through election. But my friend here will also agree with me that not all those MCAs that sit there are elected. Some of them are nominated, and they're not nominated based on the majority that voted for them. They're nominated based on the party patronage, and so he needs to qualify that as well.
All right. So, Bwana Speaker, as you continue, just would you agree with the assessment that there is, with the opinion,
yes,
that there is a significant lack of understanding among some members of the County Assembly of not just their rules, but even the documents that come before them? Would you, in your experience as Speaker, have you observed this?
I think the problem we have is that we have lack of civic awareness. That one, an elected leader should not be a PhD holder or a graduate. Is a representative of the peoples. Two, is there to legislate, and the process of legislation is a presentation of an issue. In a county assembly or a parliamentary system, you'll find that you have a clerk, you have legal officer, you have accountant, you have a doctorate, your PhD students in that university, that county assembly. They will be able to facilitate a process of legislation, oversight, and representation. How one arrives at a county assembly is the will of the people. And Article 1 of the Constitution, you cannot challenge that decision. So the very fact that then a MCA is a dunderhead, then it translates that the majority of the voters in that particular region are dunderhead, which I absolutely disagree.
All right.
That's why I've said, please allow me to say
Sure.
Most of the problems that we have, including in the National Assembly and the Senate, where it is presumed and perceived to have more graduates and more learned people, including principal secretary, cabinet secretary, county executive members, and the governors that are being impeached and accused of abandonment of public resources, are to some extent, quote, more dunder than the elected leaders. And therefore, I tend to disqualify with that.
Okay, I see.
However, allow me to come to the subject matter of today, having disagreed with that fact.
Right.
Is that an impeachment is provided for in the Constitution of Kenya. it is not an emotive thing. It is a requirement of the law. There are no emotions attached to this. 2, why is it so special that we have to sit here and discuss circumstances under which Governor X was processed and impeached by a constitutional institution referred to as a county assembly, subjected to Senate, and they rush to court, and we have no problem when teachers are fired when they misbehave. Doctors are fired when they misbehave. Policemen are fired when they misbehave. We are fired from industrial areas workers when they misbehave. The matatu drivers are arrested and are fired, their driving licenses are withdrawn when they're. What is it so special with governors that it becomes a subject matter for discussion when they have been given responsibility and a mandate under Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya, and when they are questioned by members of the County Assembly under the provisions of the law, validly and constitutionally elected people, it becomes a subject matter. It's selfishness. And to qualify that, these leaders ought to have been impeached, and they should be impeached as much as possible, is this. Do you know that after every election cycle, only less than 10% of leaders are re-elected? So the ultimate impeachment is at the ballot. That means that if 90% of leaders are impeached by the citizen through ballot box, they ought to have been impeached the first day in the office. That is absolutely true. Now, when members of the County Assembly do initiate these motions, it means then that there must be a problem. To the extent that the governor cannot explain circumstances under which he has utilized public resources, and the motion through all the process has been processed, presented before the Assembly, the governor is requested to appear before the Assembly and the Committee of the whole House, and is not able to explain to the circumstances, and then they may find their way through Senate. That is not explainable. But what I want to say, which is very important, is that the impeachments are instrument provided for in the Constitution for elected leaders, and should not be read differently to assume that governors, president, county executive committee members, and the elected leaders, including the speaker, members of the county assembly, senators, should be recalled as well, because there's a social contract between the employer and the employee, and the terms of the contract are that we have agreed on X, Y, Z, and should you not fulfill, then we will either recall you if you are a legislator, or otherwise, if you are an executive like president, deputy, and county executive committee member and cabinet secretary, who impeach you. And therefore, an impeachment is an administrative process to discipline someone who has been given responsibility and is not managing. So if you do not want to be impeached, and you want to be a governor, president, county executive committee member, cabinet secretary, retire to your home and managing your cows, because your cows will never impeach you even if you don't release them to food place.
Right.
So it's absolutely, it is a constitutional requirement. We ought not to discuss it.
Right.
We should see more of these, in fact, because the process of disciplinary.
All right, all right. Now, one of the things that has been said about impeachment is that there is sometimes influence peddling, there's sometimes bribery or even intimidation. And I want to put this question to the elected members of the county assembly that we have, assemblies that we have in the room right now. Let's start with you, Daktari, and then we come to Honorable Mbogo and, of course, Honorable Minority Whip. Have you personally faced any political pressure or perhaps any political influence to either support or reject an impeachment motion? If so, from whom and why? Daktari, let's start with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Impeachments, as you've heard, is a process that we've been entrusted as MCAs to ensure that has been done. And the first pressure comes from the voters who have elected us into offices. I would say, for example, in Kericho County, where I come from, we have impeached our governor twice this particular term. And the biggest pressure has come from the voters themselves, because where there's been investigation that has happened and there's lots of public funds, as their representative, they expect me to stand with them. So I remember when I was doing functions, they would ask me, we have seen you've done a report, and there's lots of funds. We expect you as our representative to come out and do the needful. So the biggest pressure comes from the elected people, from the members of the public, because we represent them in the assembly as a member. And so when you lose that voice of reason from the members, you lose the trust. So you choose between, do I bow to pressure of the members of the public, or do I persuade my own conviction that I should side with the governor? And you face the impeachment yourself at the ballot. So it's always good to look at where you are and say, I have a role called representation. Who am I representing? It is the people. And they have seen what is happening in the county, and therefore it will be difficult for you as a member to ignore and avoid voicing your concern through an impeachment process. So once what the process has begun, you toe the line. Where do you stand? Do you stand with the oppressors or with the people? And for Kericho, we had what you call Team Raya versus Team, those guys with the governor. So for me, it was all about walking the talk and being with the people on this side of this impeachment which happened in Kericho.
So just yes or no, you haven't been influenced or intimidated to either support or reject, have you?
There have been attempts, but of course I've stood very strong because at the end of the day, it is me and my power that I have, because I have the power of the people. So there have been attempts from all corners, friends of the governor, business community, and any other person who wants to say, please, can you turn down on this matter?
I see.
But all the same, it becomes, what do you decide as a member elected, representing the people who have elected you to perform their duties in the Senate.
All right. Honorable Kyogora, where do you stand on this? Have you been intimidated before? Have you seen this happen? And then what was your response on this?
So thank you very much.
Karibu.
You know, in Meru, we started impeaching Governor Kawira Mwangaza 3 months after she was elected governor in 2022. And I was the mover of the first motion that went all the way to the Senate. And what I can tell you is the standard of impeachment has been set by the Wambora case all the way to the Court of Appeal, and the Sonko case all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court in the Sonko case observed that an impeachment is both a legal process and a political process. So you cannot isolate the political part of an impeachment, and then you also isolate the legal part of an impeachment. What is the political part? The political part is who initiates the impeachment. It can be MCAs agreeing that this one is doing bad, we get the governor out. It can be the senator. Maybe he wants to be governor, or maybe he sees the county is not running. He comes and talks to MCs and tells, Uyu, leteni Senate, tutatoa. It can be the initiative of the president. Those are the 3 centers that can remove a governor. If you look at the case of Wambora, it's the MCAs.
Just a moment. If those are the 3 centers, as you call them, that can initiate that process, what happens to the other center that Dr. Ibet was talking about? The people. Do they have you ever seen a scenario where the people actually...
The ones pushing the impeachment? Maybe the people start participating when they see the motion or the movement, because you have to do public participation. You have to involve the people. So either way,
but you haven't seen
I've not seen where it's the people who brought the motion,
I
the MCAs, or a petition that originates an impeachment.
All right, carry on.
Yeah. So those are most of the initiatives start from there. Like the Sonko case, the Waitito case, it's President Kenyatta who initiated it, and he fueled it all the way. So you cannot isolate politics from an impeachment. I'm not faulting him for doing it. Maybe he saw the counties were not being run well as the president at the top. So those are the likely centers where this can be. And what you're asking about influence, being influenced here and there, that happens in politics. Money is involved. Death threats. Like myself, when I moved the first impeachment motion in Meru County, I was thrilled severally that I had to abandon my own house. I moved to an hotel next to the governor's residence. I wanted to stay next to her home so that she cannot suspect I'm close to her. So I was living next to her house during the first impeachment. I realized there are cars following me everywhere. So it's also a matter of life and death, because, you know, an impeachment is also a serious problem when it comes to a political career. If you're impeached, you cannot contest for elections, ever. I don't know where people talk about 10 years. Once you exhaust that appeal mechanism at the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court, you cannot contest for elections. So it's not an easy thing for you to do. There are so many things you have to look at.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Honorable Kyogora, just Honorable Mbogo, before we come to you, would you, for the purpose of understanding and just to open the doors to really what really happens, Would you care to share with us a little bit of your personal experience in that first impeachment motion? First of all, you moved the motion all the way. Where did it originate? How did you come up with it?
It's myself.
And personally, what convinced you or convicted you to take that sort of role to spearhead this very thing? Talk to us about perhaps the quiet before the storm.
So we were 5 members of the House leadership. Then we tried to seek audience with the governor. The MCAs were complaining that the
3 months into the whole
3
thing.
months, we were trying to book an appointment with the governor to sit down and talk about some of the things we saw she had started doing badly. For example, roadside appointments. She couldn't go to a market and say, oh, this market has no cleaners. Who do you want me to appoint? She would popularly do an advertisement, shortlisting, and interview and hire there. The work of the County Public Service Board. She did such 3 appointments on the roadside. So we saw, oh, this is bad. This thing has to be competitive. All these appointments she is doing unilaterally and demanding that these people be placed on the payroll. Then we realize this is someone who doesn't know about public governance. Then we tried to have a meeting with her to resolve these things and tell her, you have to go slow about these things, you have to follow the procedures for doing things. Then we also wanted to discuss the budget because we were supposed to do a supplementary budget immediately after the election. She didn't want to do it. She just went to Muga FM, it's a local FM, and started trashing MCAs there. Oh, they are calling me for Mandazi. They want to sit me to eat your money. She started trashing us, so it became so bad. The bad blood. Then we tried to book appointments where she could not even pick our phone calls. Then we say, no, this one we have to impeach. She had given us all the materials. We knew it was so too soon after the elections, would have proven difficult. And also there is also the gender card that she played very well. Especially with people outside Meru, they saw this is a woman being persecuted. It's as if she was not elected by the people knowing she's a woman. Maybe she grew boobs after the election. People knew she was a woman when they were electing her.
Right.
But now, during the impeachment, she always rallied behind the gender card. I'm a woman, it's the men. They want to persecute me. But she was elected by so many people. It's not like they didn't know she was a woman in the first place and say, oh, these ones are persecuting me. Because and when you called for those meetings, actually it's the women who turned up in bigger numbers in public participations that wanted us. This one will make sure that no women are elected again if this is the kind of show that women are putting forth. It's setting a very bad agenda for them. So that's how it started. She could not want to sit down with us to discuss anything. We saw that she was doing unilateral appointments without going through the public service board, even for our own staff. Then she started filling her office. She was limited to 39 officers. She hired 103. So we wanted to tell her, you cannot go hiring people way above the number that has been set for you by the Transitional Authority and the SRC. You cannot be doing things the way you want. This is a government. So when we started doing the impeachment, there were those tangible issues that we brought to the Senate that even the committee itself was unable to decide which way to vote all the way when it came to the Senate. Then you understand also the politics that goes on at the Senate.
Right.
You can come there, use emotional stuff, and then all the legal issues are washed aside. Like there is one MP who had spoken very bad things, misogynistic things against the governor, and she played those videos that the senators forgot the issues that were persecuted against her in the second impeachment. Of course, the third impeachment became successful because we could not, she used to forget. Like we could sit down and tell her, please, can you do the right thing? Can you govern, can you remove your family from the office? Then the governor was not listening. The other week, a month ago, she bought a political party, the one that used to be Martin Wambora's UMP. Then she put her family, she is the party leader, her husband is Secretary General, the sister is the deputy party leader, the son is the organizing secretary, like the family. That's how she used to govern Meru with them.
I see.
So one day she was called to Korea to go and see medical equipment. Instead of sending the CEC for health and all these other professionals, technocrats, she sent the family. You know, when she was given also an opportunity to bring to get some 2 bodyguards from the government, she took a brother who used to be a police officer in Nakuru and the sister who was a police officer around the town where she was stationed as the bodyguards. So she could even send the bodyguards as the delegation for the county in important matters. Now, how does family now bring this
All right.
bring value to the county. So when we started impeaching her, Kenyans, they never cared about anything. She was going to social media saying, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a bishop, I'm being persecuted. She could hide behind religion and behind gender to hide all the bad things that she was doing.
I see.
So then as MCAs, for us, we were dealing with principle because you understand there is money involved. The governor is calling you, offering you millions.
Right.
And you really have to reject. We had to reject a lot of offers. You are called. 5 million is here for you. Join us. We just need 24 members because we need to frustrate the 2/3 that are required to impeach.
Right.
We need 24 so you can add. We give you. We were given so many incentives, but we stood all the way because there is something that we saw. It's either we are impeached at the ballot as MCAs if we do not take care of her because she was very unpopular.
I see.
Or we impeach her. So it's whoever gets the other first. Because for us, the voters would have gotten rid of us at the ballot if we had not gotten rid of her.
Kill or be killed. Honorable Mbogo, from where you sit, have you seen such scenes play out?
Yeah, well, I can say from my external observation, I've seen such things happening. I'm from a Kirinyaga County Assembly, and we have not had an impeachment motion. So far, so good. But in the previous county assembly, our governor actually got impeached. And I would say the only reason that impeachment processes don't meet the required purpose is the lack of a clear mechanism.
I see.
And actually, I feel like it's probably, as much as we have a very strong constitution, I feel like it could have been intentional to have the process be the way it is. Because I would give you my view of that process, and it would actually be so effective. First and foremost, an impeachment motion arises from the county assembly moved by a member, and then upon, if it's successful, it's directly sent to the Senate, right? But the question is here, you're impeaching a governor at the county level, and from there, you send them to the Senate. Our colleague here, or rather the analyst, talked about us having illiterate MCAs, and the speaker here tried to defend the same, talking about having leaders on an elective process and actually on a populism basis. But then again, if we, for example, have an impeachment motion against the governor because of maybe misappropriation of funds, abuse of office, and we probably need the evidence that they go to ask at the Senate. So you expect me, as an MCA, to actually retrieve documents that are in the custody of the executive, which is being led by the same governor we are impeaching, and they are probably singing to the tune of the same governor. So this is my take. First and foremost, an impeachment being in the Constitution is such a strong tool to guide and protect the people and protect devolution and the country at large. But the process itself will never be effective in that EACC never comes into play at the right time. We have the DCI, the so feared for DCI, that actually currently going for the wrong targets. It's been going for the Gen Zs, it's been going for bloggers, but it's not going to the right criminals, or rather the criminals themselves. This is a thing. If we have an impeachment motion, I think the first players should be the DCI and EACC.
I see.
And from there, the governor is supposed to be summoned to the county assembly to answer questions. And if that fails, then it should proceed to the Senate. And I'll tell you why. The Constitution downplayed the members of the public in broad daylight.
What do you mean by that?
By setting aside the position, or rather having the position of an MCA in the Constitution. If you look clearly, even by symbolism, we have 5 positions and then we have an MCA who is actually sitting with the members of the public. And I'll tell you why. The position of an MCA is there to just blind the members of the public, yet it's a very weak position. a position that you're trying to oversight a governor that is in charge of a budget of between 5 to almost 15 billion. And you as an MCA, you have no strength. I know they may want, my colleagues may want to talk about it.
Just a quick one. Let me ask you, when you say strength, what are you talking about?
Let me say constitutional strength is just there on paper.
Hang on, here's and please, Bona Speaker, and from just pedestrian understanding, we're made to believe that a county assembly has almost similar powers to what, like a high court?
High court, yes.
Yeah, it's like that on. No, it doesn't.
So you're skeptical about whether MCAs really have real power?
I'm not skeptical, I'm sure, because I'm one.
I see.
Professionally, I'm a doctor, and I've seen how it plays at the assemblies. As much as...
how would you diagnose this problem? You say it's the Constitution that's
it's the Constitution that actually has downplayed just on that part.
There's mischief in the Constitution.
I wouldn't really say there's mischief in the Constitution because I wasn't part of the drafters of the Constitution. I'm actually just enjoying whatever it provides for. But
right.
Anytime we have a looming impeachment, I think they be marching at the Senate, waiting for the governor to come and come in loads and loads of cash. So the MCAs could be trying to talk as the voice of the people, but majorly at the Senate, they are waiting for the millions.
I see.
So there's no day we're going to meet the purpose of an impeachment.
I see.
And like one of us said, you cannot split an impeachment like the political side and the legal side. They are all intertwined.
I see.
They go together, but the politics always wins.
Is that so?
And when the politics wins, it becomes a game of money. And
politics wins.
And another thing that will actually make impeachments not even to materialize is the slots of nominations. I'm not against having nominated members in assemblies, in Senate, and at the National Assembly. But if right now I committed murder, and for example, my mother is a judge, trust you me, I'm not going to hang. I'll comfortably go home. That is exactly what happens when we have nominated members facing the governor at an impeachment.
I see. Okay, listen, I think we need to bring in these guys. And out of the corner of my eye, I would see some reactions and I can feel some temperature from some of the things you're saying, Honorable Mbogo. Let's get some feedback from you guys. Let's start with you. You're an aspiring MCA yourself. Would you care to stand? What do you say? What do you feel when you hear the sentiments of the gentleman from this side of the room?
Okay, thank you so much. I have been listening to these members of the political class who are here, and most of them are from the legislative arm. And when we talk about this fact of the impeachment, is it the game of oversight or have we turned it into a political game? Personally,
hold your mic properly, please.
Personally, from my point of view, I feel now our legislative arms, both from the National Assembly and the county assemblies, have actually turned the oversight role into a political game when it comes to impeachment. And this is my take. We have had cases like the honorable member from Meru said that when it comes to impeachment, the politics wins over the work that you people have been sent to do. You people have been sent to do in the county assemblies and also in the National Assembly. We have had cases whereby we are hearing cases of bribes from people from the legislature. It's like when you don't obey these political gods, in quotes, whereby if you have disagreement with these people who have these top positions in the political class. For instance, you mentioned about the Sonko's case and you said President Uhuru Kenyatta had some issues with Governor Sonko. Do you think the people who elected Governor Sonko from Nairobi had a problem with the implementation of projects that Governor Sonko at that time was trying to do? I feel the legislature, you are the people who are failing us. And what do I mean when I say the legislature, you are the people who are failing us? If you can't be consulted as a member of county assembly and you be told, we need to stir up something, we need to push out something to get out this governor or this maybe other president or a deputy president, what about the people who elected the same leader? You maybe get a bribe of, let's say, 50,000, 100,000, as it has been alleged before during the impeachment of our former deputy president. Members from the opposition, the current opposition, people who are not supporting the impeachment, came out strongly and said that there are people who are trying to be bribed. Now it comes now back to the voters. Are you going to do the work that we have sent you to go and do there in the National Assembly, in the County Assembly, which is, in this case, oversight? Or you are turning it now into a political game whereby you are listening to specific people in the political class, maybe because they have a financial muscle whereby you have to depend on it, or maybe you fear about your tomorrow's future in politics.
All right, valid points. Let's hear from somebody else. The gentleman with, honorable member from Isuha, Karibu sana. And then next we'll listen to the gentleman at the corner and then our dear lady here, please.
Thank you so much for having me around tonight.
Karibu. Karibu.
And I'm humbled to be here.
Karibu.
Maybe I'll start by what our Daktari said. You said that impeachment should be the last resort to any sitting person in the office, but it is never the last resort. And if you look keenly into these impeachments, there is a higher hand in it. As my friend said from Meru County, there are 3 points that can remove a sitting governor. There's that higher point, there is that, I think you mentioned the 3 points.
Yeah, he mentioned the 3 states, or the 3 centers, I believe.
3 centers that can remove, that can pass an impeachment.
Right.
And out of the 3 centers, no, Mwananchi was not part of the 3 centers of removal of any person in office. If you look keenly, since devolution came into action, it was when the introduction of governors and counties was introduced. So interest drew from the national politics to county assemblies, in that you find those in authority in higher offices will want their people in counties distributed evenly. Then it reached a point, sorry to say this, but our members of county assemblies have made this impeachment issue a business, in that they don't give it room to think twice. As long as somebody somewhere in higher rank has called you and said, uyu atoke, uyu apana, you'll find a motion being pursued.
I see.
So it is not a people-oriented motion. And to some extent, our current crop of politicians are serving their own interests.
I see.
They are not representing Mwananchi at any level of their representation.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think the point is clear. Thank you. Let's hear from the gentleman at the corner, and then we'll hear from you. And you have a point? And you have a point as well. Okay, we'll hear from all of you. Let's keep it nice and tight. Sir?
Thank you again for inviting us over here.
Karibu.
I'll have a few questions. I'll direct it to the Honorable Speaker, Douglas.
Okay. Actually, can we allow you to go last? Because if it's a question, it would need to be answered. And we don't want to forget those questions. So with your indulgence, please, you'll go last. Let's hear from the gentleman who's got a microphone. And please pass the mic to the lady in front of you. And when you're done, we'll pass it to her. Please. Karibu.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Karibu.
First of all, my view on impeachment is basing on the threats. I mean, when we talk about impeachment, it's a kind of shield of threat against maybe unearthing some shoddy deals or something that is not good in the government. If I may allude, recently, when the president pinpointed some of the members of parliament being members who perpetrated a kind of corruption in the parliament. You could hear some fight back about it, saying that the president should be impeached or something of that sort. At the same time, if I may go back to the Kericho County, the governor was impeached by members of county assembly, but unfortunately, the axe was saved in the National Assembly. What does this mean? And after that one, I saw him celebrating with their boards on the ground after surviving. What does that mean? It means that these people, the members of county assembly, they don't have the basis on the grounds, okay? The grounds of how could they maybe impeach this governor? They don't have any kind of tangible evidence on that. That note.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
So allow me
Yes,
again,
please.
if I may move back to from 2013. You know, we had motions of over 11 governors who have been impeached, but all of them except Waititu and Governor Songo, who were successfully impeached. What does that tell us? It means that this process is marred by corruption, and we should have to go to the drawing board and try to seek the truth, because we cannot be used in the darkness and use members of county assembly to just impeach people without basis, without maybe the real evidence on how they can do that one.
That's a really good point, because it's actually something I want to ask, and I think Bona Speaker and our governance and political analysts can help us with that. What really is the threshold of what should actually be, accepted? And second, who bears the weight of proof and so on? A lot of Kenyans really want to know about this, but we're coming back to that in a second. Allow me to go around the room. Let's hear from you, sir. And then from you, and then from you, and then lastly from you. Quick as you can, please. Karibu, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll try to be as brief.
All right.
And straight to the point. My name is Martin Fusa from Umoja 2.
Karibu.
So I'm representing the people of Umoja 2, but at large I'm representing Nairobi,
Karibu,
the youths of Nairobi.
Karibu.
So I'll start by saying that impeachment has been a tool that has been used as, let me say, a threat tool to some extent by the MCAs. Allow me to start from that point. When they see something that is not going on their way or according to their expectation, the motion that they will push is an impeachment. But that was just a smaller area that I wanted to talk about. Now, the main thing about impeachment, the same way so many panelists have shared, that when an impeachment passes the county assembly, when it goes to the higher rank, it falls there. It means that is where the problem is. Why would a larger number, which means these people were elected, it means they represent the larger number. Why will they pass a motion that they agree that this person deserves to be laid off or to be put to somewhere? Because he doesn't serve what he's supposed to do, maybe in terms of the duties of a governor or the duties of a president when it comes to president or deputy. Why would we decide as the people of Nairobi County that we want to impeach? Then when it reaches the Senate decides that no, that is not a good thing for you to do? Or why does it come to an aspect of a party leader deciding when an impeachment motion can go on or not,
all right, okay,
or it be dropped?
Okay.
It means that the problem starts from immediately we pass the MCAs. That is where the main problem is. And I want to point fingers at the Senate, because the Senate are carrying a larger burden. Around 10 of the governors from 2010 that have been brought to the Senate for impeachment, only Sonko and the Kiambu governor, Waititu, were able to be impeached. The rest have been reinstated by the Senate.
Kawira is out.
All right. What about Governor for Meru?
Yeah.
I believe there's a case in court that is still proceeding, right?
The High Court ruled that we did the right thing.
Actually,
yes, there's a case in court, so I will not mention that.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I think the point is clear.
Yes.
You raise a
Piece of information for him.
All right. We'll come to him, but thank you. Thank you for that. Let's hear from you first, quickly as you can, please.
So for me, I would say that our country is yet to fully mature in terms of the way we do our politics. And if the impeachments were truly about oversight, we would see the first person to go home would actually be the president. We have seen him violate the constitution right, left, and center. But because the members of parliament see him as a demigod, they cannot really do anything about it. So what we do see is that most of our leaders are stuck in the old constitution, whereby the president had, he had all the say. So we looking at even what happened with Governor Sakaja. He should be out right now, but because he's friends with very high-profile people, really he cannot go home.
I see.
So we are yet at the county level. I think there's something good could be going on. I think I followed the Meru governor case, and for me, I honestly think that that impeachment was truly deserved. So what we do see is also a lot of ignorance with those in government. We also see like with the deputy president, falling out with the president, that warrants him an impeachment. So that is what I'm saying, that the president holds so much power in which he shouldn't. But really, we also see ignorance on his part as the deputy president, because if he had really read the constitution and he really understood the constitution, he wouldn't have found himself in that position whereby he's impeached. Yes, right. So it is somehow right at the center. There's a political game, but still we see there's oversight.
I see. Interesting. Let's hear from you, and then we get your question, sir. Quickly. Okay. Did you make a point already?
No.
Oh, please, as quick as you can, please.
Okay. Personally, I see impeachment as a very good thing, because one, it means that our MCAs are doing a good job. But on the other hand, I see it as a political game. For instance, let us see the Sakaja's impeachment that was to happen. If it was really a genuine reason for him to get off the office, then why did the ODM party come in to defend him? Why did they come and try talking to their MCAs to ensure that Governor Sakaja was safe? That means that was really a game. It was not a genuine impeachment, because if it was genuine, then the MCAs could not have listened to their party leader and maybe chosen not to go ahead. For instance, the Meru impeachment, when Kawira went to the Senate the first time, then she was proven not guilty the second, they still went on because they had a goal to accomplish. Maybe I'm not from that county.
I was told not to do it, and we refused.
Yeah, personally, I'm not from that county, so I cannot talk on behalf of the residents of the county. I don't know, because maybe, you can impeach someone, but they were chosen by the people. Yeah, this leader is not a good leader, but the person represents the majority, because the main problem starts with the voters.
Okay.
Before we elect someone, how do we do a background check of who they are? Do they just see Faith Musau, who is maybe an aspirant? I go there, nenda kwa ground, nidanganye watu, wanipigie kura. Do they really do a background check? Because sengine mtu akishingia kwa ofisi, you have some political enemies.
Okay.
The political enemies can take an advantage of that. But personally, I feel like not all impeachments are political. Some are very genuine.
All right, fair enough. Now, let's get your questions as quickly as you can, and then we shift the pendulum to this other side of the room. What are your questions, sir, and to whom?
Thank you. And I'll direct my question to the Speaker, Honorable Douglas.
All right.
Do you think that the Electoral Boundaries and Commission should review the educational qualities of an elected MCA? Why am I asking this? Because from my county, we could see an MCA who could not even express himself at the county at the Senate? And then another question is, do you think the Senate is doing you justice when you pass the impeachment motion and then they go and again and vote? Do you think they are doing you justice?
All right, good questions. And I believe, Honorable Speaker, you can answer them directly as well as our analysts before we shift gears, because I want us to shift gears. There's some important questions that have come in from the public. Sir?
The threshold or requirement for one to be elected as a member of parliament, as a senator, and as a member of county assembly is past Form 4 certificate. So how you citizens will choose to elect a member of county assembly who is a doctor, here seated, and elect an MCA who is a grade 8 or a Form 4 graduate, and elect a senator who is a grade 8, and elect a member of parliament who is PhD holder, elect a president who is a PhD holder, and not elect another one who is a graduate. It's up to the voters. And that power is given by the Constitution. And that matter has been discussed in several courts, and it has been determined that it is not within the IBC or the court to determine the threshold, because the leadership and representation is not about merit of how you scored in class. It is representing the will of the people. But to correct you, do you know the so-called MCA from Kericho who is purportedly said not to have been able to express himself, and in this case, quote, Danda, is the one who proved to the Senate that due process was not followed. And he said, I have a Mulika Mwizi which cannot log into the system and vote. As opposed, the phone that I was to use to do so, it was with my personal assistant. You require to communicate, and Parliament has a responsibility for sign language and help everyone else to do so. And that is why in Parliament you find that Parliament is supported by graduates, PhD holders, and a committee clerkship system who are more than the members of the Parliament and MCAs elected in that Parliament. For purposes of deciphering or picking what is in my mind as an elected member of a county assembly, irrespective of whether you are a doctor or not, whether you are a clinical doctor, that doesn't matter. What matters is transferring the will of the people on the floor of the House. The committee clerk and the Speaker has a responsibility to translate that in form of a report. So I want to inform Kenyans that the Kericho case was dropped by Senate on the basis of the procedure of voting, not the merit of the case as whether the governor was corrupt or not.
All right.
So that MCA who has been quoted as not being elected, he was able to express himself and confirm that he did not vote, and that is what Senate relied on. And therefore, I want to demystify the fact that literacy is the best. And I want to agree with my sister Gen Z here, who has indicated that at the level of the president, impeachment of the deputy, and how Nairobi County Assembly has secured Sakaja in office when the County Assembly had initiated the motion, is to demonstrate that Dr. William Ruto, for your information, and Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga had to take an initiative to protect Sakaja. Therefore, if you are to question who is not playing his role, members of county assemblies are executing their role, and that's why you have a number of motions before Senate. Only 2 or 3 have succeeded. As to relating the quality of the motions, and drafting motion is not the responsibility of the MCA. The responsibility of this MCA, whether graduate or not, is to demonstrate misuse of public resources, that there ought to be a dam constructed worth 200 million. It doesn't exist. The Committee of Account Assembly will visit, accompanied by a committee clerk who is a graduate, who is an engineer, and Council Assembly as a provision under the law to invite experts and engineers to help them to rise and quantify the work, and use that as the basis of the report, approve in the Assembly, and ask the governor to explain whether the dam exists or not. So the responsibility of a member of county assembly is to represent, to see, listen to people, and express their opinion. The assembly are a system to facilitate. Same qualifications are applicable to the Senate. I want to tell you that in the National Assembly, some of the best members of parliament serving, some of the members of parliament serving very well in management of the CDF are those who are not PhD holders. Those who are PhD holders, some of them are better thieves.
All right.
I have a point of information to add on what he's saying, because two of the speakers on the other side alluded to the fact that the people are not involved in the process when I mentioned the 3 people. MCAs represent the people. Senators represent the people. Chapter 1 of the Constitution, power belongs to the people. They can exercise directly or through their elected representatives. So when I bring a motion, I'm not bringing it on behalf of my wife. I'm bringing it on behalf of the people who elected me, who put me there. So I'm not acting out of the ordinary. I'm acting out of representation because I'm representing a constituency. And I will still go back to them through public participation to ask them, what I'm doing in this house, are you approving of it? I want to impeach this governor based on, and we do this public participation word to word. Like, do you people agree with us to do this? You go to the people, all of it has to go through the people. So it's not like
due process.
People are not involved. Yeah. So for impeachment, even the courts themselves they look at the process.
Right.
They don't look at the legal issues. The legal issues are precluded to the county assembly and the Senate. You cannot go to argue issues at the courts. The courts look at the process. Were you given an opportunity to be heard? Were you served?
Actually.
Were you listened to?
Actually.
The courts will never look at the reasons. Actually, you can be impeached for making noise or for hovering around Meru town or whichever town you come from if you are governor and making noise and causing noise pollution. And if you are governor, you can be impeached. So the courts will never look at, if you convince the Senate that what she did or what he did was wrong, they will impeach. So, and the courts will never look at the merits of
due
noise
process.
And it's about the process. Why you heard? Did you come to be listened to? It's not about that.
All right. And I think this is a nice segue because I want us to talk about due process here. And let's bring in Daktari and Mr. Gwanda. From where you sit, one of the interesting statistics that came from this side is that a vast majority of, shall I say, impeachment attempts have been unsuccessful, right? We can agree on that. Yes. Unsuccessful.
Yes.
Why? And one of the things that has been suggested, and also other opinions and perspectives on this have suggested this one thing: due process is missing, proper process. Dr. where do you sit on this? Would you agree that the vast majority of these impeachment attempts, if I should call them that, are failing because of that? Or is there some other hidden dragon?
A vast majority fail at the Senate level. Do they fail because there was no proper evidence adduced or prepared by the county assemblies? I don't think so. I mean, just the one that was cut in the bud in Nairobi, the fact that MCAs, many of them had already signed, and then they are told not to proceed, and they agree not to proceed. It is not because Governor Sakaja is not guilty. I mean, everybody knows. Everybody in Nairobi knows.
Well, clearly the MCAs were not as complete.
They know, even the MCAs know. But now here, the whole issue about manipulating. We have a system that is being manipulated, even at the Senate level. And I would like us not to just center at the county assembly. I mean, impeachment is not only at the county assembly, it's also at the national assembly. There is one successful impeachment that was done, I think the only one, at the national assembly, and it was done at record time. And when you process that, any ordinary Kenyan who is serious with the business of the nation, you can see that this was a manipulated process. The president himself is on record as saying that for them to get bills passed, they have to, the members of parliament have to be, they demand and in bribery or in corruption, there is a giver and there is a taker. So we have a system in Kenya. It is very clear that we have a huge corruption problem in the political system during electioneering and elections, in the governance of the nation, to the extent that it is like even when now the MCAs may be very, very genuine. They have very genuine reasons. And they actually move the motion. And as the Speaker has rightfully pointed, the relevant evidence is gathered. But when it goes to the Senate, you can actually smell that there are people who are wishing, bring it on, because right there is a lot of money that exchange hands. I think to the extent that impeachment is being driven by other interests other than the good of the nation, other than the desire to move forward in the governance of our country so that we become the Singapore that we talk about, other than to fix the problems that face the nation. So far, I want to agree with some of the colleagues who have said, by the time the Meru County Assembly was driving the motion, even the first time, you could see there's a problem here. And they kept on. Even that Kericho story, I believe it will come back if the MCAs are really serious, because you can actually see there are issues. But why is it that the Senate, they talk about it being the higher house, the upper house.
The upper house.
Why is it that at that level we can see and smell a situation where even before the motion gets to the House, you can predict the outcome, because there's a lot of economic things that take place.
All right.
And that distorts the whole thing.
Okay.
It makes nonsense the intention of the Constitution and the intention of the nation to have a proper governance.
All right. What about you, Mr. Gwanda?
Well, you know, I'm really appalled by my friend here, the Speaker, more so when he talks about the PhD, some of them not being in good leadership. I'm a PhD. And the only thing I can tell you, my friend, is at a master's level, you have the scrutiny of documents. At a doctorate level, you have ability to comprehend the issues, but also do research on them, also find facts in them, also synthesize a document to see whether there are facts in it. Those are the facts that are needed when you need to impeach a governor. And that is the process I had said. So when you elect a class 8 person, and my friend here says, you know, that's the will of the people. Of course, that's what the Constitution says. But is that what we're supposed to do when you have a tender document? I don't know any of us here have seen a tender document. If you look at a tender document, a normal tender document is this thick. It's sometimes 200 pages. The question is, a class 8 person, will he be able to synthesize, to analyze, and also to understand a document of that nature? If you're bringing a bill or a petition in the county assembly and you're a class 8 for that reason, and I know he's benefiting from that, because once you are an elite and a speaker and you know that these guys are just debating but they're going nowhere, you also don't have to advise them, because I know what you're doing, but I just want to know that it's not going to go far. And you know, he's enjoying in that haura of insensitivity and also illiteracy that some of these people have, and then he doesn't advise them because he knows, but by the way, you're not going to go far, even if you go to the Senate, but you have no evidence here, and I will not tell you, because my role here is just to allow you to either, you know, say that you've been impeached or not. I really think that as much as they may be defending the system, we also have to get to a place where we are sensitizing, and I mentioned that at the beginning of the discussion. How do we sensitize the MCAs and let them know that the procedure, as my brother here is saying, should be adhered to? But besides that, there are also factual evidence that you must have, right? I can tell him for free, and he knows this, that in the Senate about Kericho, it was not about that MCA, it was politics. And it was politics that is known in this country. It was not about that MCA.
So it is not about literacy?
No, it was not even about literacy in that case. He had nothing in his brain. But there was politics in it. There was politics in it. And the reason why I'm saying that is we are having a situation basically that is controlled by the governors. And I can tell you for free here that the most corrupt counties don't get impeached. and governors don't get impeached because they know how to handle the MCS, they know how to handle the system, and they don't get impeached.
Absolutely.
All right? But the ones that are wishy-washy governors and also don't want to answer phone calls, as my brother has said here, and are not paying attention to the small man, and has not stolen much, that one will be impeached because naturally they're also mean. Eh?
So you're saying,
with the
MCS. They should be black or white?
They're very mean with the MCS, and the speaker. So, they get impeached very, very quickly. But if you look at what my sister just talked about, again, let me move on into the party level. Honorable Tieno Kajwang said the infidelity of the party and the loyalty is key to anything else. In the sense of my brother Sakaja here, then that plays. The party sits and says, well, is he loyal? Does he have the infidelity of the, then why do we have to impeach him? And then there's a lot of transition and the political issues about it. If we impeach him, then who sits there? Because this is now the main city that we have. Are we ready for a by-election? And if we are ready for a by-election, are we going to win it? Those are now politics, and that is why you'll find, the leaders of the party now saying, look, this is a little bit complicated. How do we just put it down a little bit as we look at what happens next? So there's a lot that goes into it, but the process, as my brother here said, is key. So sensitization of our MCAs is key, and actually we need to rain down on also the party leaders. As you nominate, please don't nominate a class 2 or a class 7. And that is the case. And then when they go there and the governor just raises a voice like this, they are on the ground worshipping. And they are also representing somebody. They are also mandated by law to be there and to legislate and to oversight and also to make sure that they build laws that governs that county. I am sorry that I think the biggest problem we are having is a bit of illiteracy and also not knowing the process. But again, let's not forget there are issues of the Senate.
All right.
And there are many issues of the Senate. And if we don't, and by the way, he called them, part of them are dunderheads. I'm not going to say that. But that is... we have to,
Right. No, thank you.
Right.
Now, Dr. Bett, I want to bring you in here before, and Bona Speaker, I have a question for you. Prepare this for us as simply as possible. Before an impeachment, like when an impeachment motion lands on your desk, right? Just take us there. What documents must accompany it even before it reaches the floor? What is that threshold? What do you need to see? As you digest that question, I want to bring in Honorable Dr. Bett. Do MCAs actually get access to these documents that we're talking about? Do they get access to forensic reports, audit findings, legal briefs, such things? Do you get access to these things? And would you say, as has been said here, would you say you and your colleagues have the capacity to digest, analyze, and interrogate these documents? I pass the question to you, yes, but extend it to the other members here. Please.
Yes, the answer is yes, because before impeachment, we interact with other documents in the county assembly. We have the budgets, we have motions of different nature, because to impeach a governor is a motion. So before you bring impeachment of a governor, the other motions you have passed in the county assembly. So that becomes a training ground for the members of the county assembly to interact with documents and verify and to internalize and even debate on those matters. So a serious thing like impeachment, when it comes, the members are acquainted with such discussions. Okay. So it's not foreign that you're discussing impeachment of a governor and there are documents of investment of funds in the county assembly, in the county, for example, and there are documents you can see and verify. So this impeachment, in terms of like what we have is that we have enough information to decipher and make decisions on that matter. I'll give an example for Kericho County. For this second impeachment, the person who gave us the whistleblower was the deputy governor of Kericho County. And he gave us a document that said, money has been embezzled, I'm the deputy governor, this is the document. So what we did was, we formed another committee to investigate that matter. And we put members in that committee to do and interrogate and get documents now, like verify, get the vouchers, and interact with those kind of documents. Once that was done, we confirmed that there's things, money was lost. And that formed the basis now of impeachment. So all the members were acquainted in that process. And therefore, every member knew very well that that we have loss of funds in Kericho County, and therefore, the only remedy now is to sponsor an impeachment motion against the governor.
Just a quick one before we move to Honorable Kiogora. When you look at what happened at the Senate, in the case of your county,
yes,
and as a proponent or as a supporter of that impeachment motion,
yes,
quick one, do you feel cheated? Do you feel let down?
Of course, definitely, because one, the subject matter was never discussed. The 3 days in the Senate, they were discussing about the voting system, discussing about the issues of like, was threshold met. For 3 good days, the Speaker of the Senate had gazetted that they will discuss issues of Kericho. For 3 good days.
Okay.
So we felt that we never got value for our efforts in the Assembly of Kericho.
And will the prophecy by Dr. Mwangi come to fruition, that you guys are actually going back to regroup and then fire another attempt?
I think he's a prophet. That
is right. Thank you. Honorable Kiogora.
So what I can say is there is a low-hanging fruit when it comes to the evidence and the materials. The Office of the Auditor General audits all counties regularly, right. And when you go to the website, you can download the audit reports. Then take them to the PIC committee. It is summons of the people who are told to account for various things. From that, you can prepare a report. You can find people culpable, just the way the Auditor General recommends. So there is a lot of things that are available. You can also write to the executive to respond to various matters that you have seen are not going well in the county, and from those reports and the responses, and even failure to come is a reason to impeach. So if you ask them, we want these materials, we want you to table these reports here to tell us the status of the healthcare workers in the county, how many we have, what is happening to the general hospital, and they refuse to come. You have the same power as the High Court. That the Constitution has given county assembly, that's power.
Okay, so if that is the case, that is the case, allow me to redirect you a little bit. If that is the case, and as a person who's pushed what we might call a successful impeachment motion, what are other county assemblies doing wrong? Why are the vast majority of those attempts failing?
Yeah, so it's because there are things that they need to get right. For example, the Kericho guys, there are things they need to get right because there are various centers and there are various things that are involved. First of all, the Senate is influenced by 2 people. The one who controls the Kenya Kwanza coalition, the president, you must find out what he wants or whether he agrees that you impeach. Then the person who controls Azimio is Raila Odinga. They will listen there for 3 days, but at the time of voting, they will call him or you will call them to give them directions. It doesn't happen like that in the county assemblies. We are a little bit independent. But when we go to the Senate, because we have been there several years, Meru, we are interacting with them. They are telling us we are waiting for the signal. The reason why Meru succeeded with removing Kawere is because the president kept off, and these people are calling him to find out whether he wants her gone or not. He refused to participate. But the reason why you saw the Azimio girls ganging up to protect her is because they were given that direction. Some of them were telling us we want her gone, but we have been told not to take her home. We see she needs to go, but we have to obey the party fidelity, like Senator Kajwang says. So,
Dr. Bet, are you listening to this more Kenya?
Yeah, so I also...
This is what you need to apply.
No, for Kericho to succeed, there are things they must get right. First of all, it's the courts. The governors corrupt the courts at the county level, the high courts, so that the county assembly is given orders not to proceed. You must find out how to navigate the courts. For that, we had to fight some of those corrupt judges, some were shifted. We had to remove some judges from Meru because they were giving orders stopping us. So we employed all methods that we could employ to intimidate some of them.
What are some of those?
We would go to the court and we call them out. We say, the Supreme Court in the Wambora case ruled that a county assembly cannot be stopped until it carries out its process to the end. Correct. Why did you give a court order stopping the impeachment? You are not supposed to do it. You have been corrupted. You should leave.
That's true.
Then we start writing to the Judicial Service Commission, to the Supreme Court, to the Chief Justice. Correct. We write everywhere. Then this judge either chooses to go. Then the one who comes to Meru, they were very careful. They could not give any order stopping the county assembly.
I see.
So you have to solve that first. I know you have someone there who sells court orders. People come from even Isiolo to go buy court orders in Kericho. It's that bad. He is known. So you have to find out how to deal with the court. Even judges are corrupt in this country. Yeah. It's not just the registrators. Right. So you must deal with the courts. Right. Number 2, then you must deal with the man at the top of the hill, the president himself. He controls the largest number of senators. So for us as Meru, rallied together as political leaders and we told him, you are not going to step in Meru if you interfere with Kawira and protect her again. So he kept off. We intimidated him. He called us to State House. We refused to go. So he called us once. We refused to recently impeached. Then the other time he called us before Gachagua was impeached. Even Gachagua called us to his Wamunyoro, whom we refused to go. We told him, oh, you are calling us to tell us to stop impeaching. We will not come. We don't want even anything from you. So we were so determined that we ganged up as Meru leaders and to the president. We will make sure you don't step in Meru if you're not going to listen to us and to the voters.
I see.
So he kept off. So you must find a way of dealing with the president. You must find a way of dealing with the courts. And then you must have substance in your motion. Have people to, I feel you have the issues. And I support county assemblies and the people need to be educated to elect educated MCAs. I don't want to agree with my speaker here that voters should be allowed to elect dandas or whoever they want. They must be told to elect people with, we have so many educated young people who can occupy this office. We need to put our best to these offices. People who can read budgets. It's an insult when someone cannot express themselves, and anybody who sees myself here who is almost graduating with a PhD and they think I've never gone to school. Yeah, so I would want people who are educated to occupy these offices because some of them are oversighting people with PhDs as governors. You cannot even question them. You're even intimidated at their CVs. You cannot even open it and look at. You are expected to vet CECs who have master's degrees. Yet you completed class 8 and you got 361 out of 800 marks when the exams were being marked out of 800. So then you are told to oversight CECs. Who are you going to oversight? And these people are intimidating you in the first place. So I have been in that assembly since 2017. Actually, I graduated from university and went to the assembly. So, and I have seen the quality that comes with educated MCAs and the kind of things they can do. And I can tell you, if we were not, if you look at the sum of the MCAs that Kawira bought, the easiest to buy, even the one who was denying in Kericho that he never voted, he had voted. Then he denied, Akaruka, and the senators were voting on the backdrop of the president and accused them of having a Sokohuru. So they were angry at the president. They think he's the one who wants him gone. We want to say no. We want to frustrate the president. So I think that the reason the senators were saving the Kericho governor is because they wanted to get back at the president. For them, sometimes it's emotions rather than the substance and the material that has been placed before them.
All right.
It's that simple.
All right, all right. Now, I know I had thrown some questions here, but I have had a glance at the time and I realize we are in trouble because this subject clearly is bigger than the time that we have. And so for the remaining, I want to say about 13 minutes, I want us to refocus and I want us to serve our Kenyans, our dear viewers, I want us to serve them something they can take away from it. In fact, I want to shut down all my questions, ladies and gentlemen, and ask this very simple and very profound question. How do we fix it? How do we fix it? Clearly, we have seen impeachment has some issues. How do we fix it? Now, I will ask the gentlemen that haven't spoken on this side to go first. And I'll start with you, Honorable Mbogo, and then we'll go to you, Bwana Speaker, and we get sentiments from this side. And I hope you guys are thinking about it. One single point each so that we make use of our time. We've got 12 minutes to go. How do we fix it? How do we make sure that this tool that was put in the Constitution for the purpose of a shield for the people and for the funds and for governance, how do we make sure it is used properly? How do we fix it? Honorable.
Two things I think we need to do. First, on the topic of impeachment, we need to fix the process. As I said, there's no way you expect when a motion comes from the Assembly, it's successful, goes to the Senate, there's never going to be concurrence between the two bodies, never at any one given time. Because as my colleague has tried to put it, at the national level, the politicians view us as just a bunch of illiterate people that don't know what they're doing. And actually, some of them are more illiterate than us. And on the other hand, we actually need to fix the nation as a whole. I've listened to my colleagues speak here, and I thank God I didn't actually get much of the time to speak because mostly when I'm on TV, I don't talk like a politician. This country will have to be fixed in one way or the other. You've seen what has happened in Nepal. You've seen what revolutions happening in other countries. So two things. We expect us, quote unquote, as politicians to fix the nation, I don't think it's going to work, because we all want to shell ourselves in what works for us, just like the analyst here has tried to punch the speaker here on trying to cushion himself, having a bunch of people.
So we can't trust you guys. We can't trust the political class.
I didn't say that we cannot be trusted.
To make the change.
This country belongs to us all. And actually, one of the things we clearly fail is on civic education.
I see.
We have never had a government, unless the ones that we didn't find as Akina Kenyatta, we have never had a government that is clearly intentional on civic education.
Okay.
We're actually having a problem currently where the current government, as much as I'm a beneficiary of the same, is trying to introduce the old-time illiteracy we had to make it easier to govern. But it's already too late for that. So I would say to fix the impeachment, we need to introduce a few elements, especially at the county level. And just like I proposed, we need to have EACC in place. We need to have DCI in place, because there's a question you asked about, do we get access to the documents? And he said yes, but then he talked about having a whistleblower. A whistleblower is just a person that decides to put themselves on the line for the sake of the people. But what if it doesn't happen in other counties? What if we don't have whistleblowers? So sometimes we ask for documents from the executive, either through the committee or the whole assembly.
Okay.
They actually don't send. The other thing that people didn't want to talk about is that we may have impeachments originating not from the presence of, but lack of documentation.
I see.
Because documentation will just be, let me just say, trash documents, failure to follow due process, maybe in tendering process,
okay,
or just decide to misuse people's funds with no proper documentation. So there's nothing to show that money was misappropriated.
And that is indeed also an option.
Yes.
All right, all right. We've got 8 minutes. Next speakers, I want us to keep it nice and tight. It's a democracy, right? Everyone gets a chance. So, Brother's Keeper, sir.
Thank you very much. Allow me to...
How would you fix it?
One is having the right people in office, elected by people, and that you did so, because on my right is a doctor. On my far left is a doctor. Behind me is a graduate from the university, 2-term elected. And the one speaking is a master's degree holder from the University of Nairobi. I want to challenge the fellow colleagues who feel they are literate enough to go and attempt and win those positions like this doctor.
All right, get
not
the
to
right
speak
people
from this
in.
platform.
All right.
But that you cannot castigate them when you are sitting and taking cappuccino in Nairobi. You have to fold the gloves, take off the boots, and get to the ground, so that you change the leadership from the perspective of the practice, not from the narrative or from discussion point of view. 2 is that impeachments are provided for under the Constitution. And again, let me reiterate that it cannot be so special that when an elected leader is questioned, it's an issue on a TV show. And when a doctor has been fired from Kenyatta National Hospital, having schooled for more than 7 years is not an issue. Right. It's unacceptable.
Okay.
And therefore, you cannot be elected, and looks like then when counter assemblies initiate motions to question your character, performance, abuse of office, and how you behave both in private and in public is a big issue.
All right.
National Assembly and Parliament has let down the counter assembly. Allow me to congratulate the counter assembly of Meru, led by a speaker who is a former member of a counter assembly for purposes of record, and the county assembly for Kericho, for what they have done. It's not easy. They've gone against the holds, led by Speaker Dr. Mutai, another PhD holder. So that should not be a problem to you.
Okay.
They are more than National Assembly that I told you.
All right.
Now, what is important is that to acknowledge that we are 15 years in the age of devolution, and therefore we cannot ask a 15-year-old baby to chew as a old man.
Okay.
And therefore it is important that to allow that devolution is growing. Whereas we have challenges at the national level, there are challenges at the county level, and you are going to surmount this in the short future.
Okay.
Therefore, county assembly should be given the responsibility and their latitude to practice, and let those who feel that county assembly are led in the wrong way fold their sleeves and jump there and get things corrected and done correctly as they ought to be done.
Thank you, Bwana Speaker. Mr. Gwanda, you have the misfortune of even less time than your previous speakers.
I'll be very brief.
Shoot from the hip.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. We must fight fight corruption from the top all the way down.
All right.
These things fail at the Senate level because of corruption. They fail at the county assembly because of corruption. And we've made the governor bigger than life individual in this country. Governor was supposed to be a servant of the people, being oversighted by the county assembly. But because of the money and they control the money, they've now think that everybody else should be a trust and can be trampled upon. Unfortunately, corruption, corruption, corruption. Again, I don't want to say what others have said, and I think that's what we need to give everybody. So whatever I've said, let somebody not say it so that we can move.
All right, so corruption is off the list. Thank you, Doctor. Yes, Dr. Mwangi.
How do we fix it?
Yes, please.
I think if Kenyans are serious, they should be angry. They should be angry that the nation is headed in the wrong direction. The next elections, the Gen Zs, because they are the majority, they should come out and vote and refuse to be bribed to vote a particular leader. Kenyans should decide that they want a nation, and that nation should be led by people who are credible, from the top to the bottom.
All right.
And then the political parties should, I hope, that the political parties can learn to have the right people, because they are the ones who put certain elements in there. So we need,
all right.
I would like Kenyans to be angry and elect a good government in 2027.
Thank you. I hope you're receiving that challenge. Kenyans, be serious, elect good leaders. Dr. Bet, quick one, in 30 seconds or less, what's your one big fix?
One big fix for impeachment, for me, is about the law. The law needs to be amended. There should be a provision to allow the substantive issues to override preliminary objections in such a report. Because if you look at most failed impeachments, they have been overridden by things to do with either numbers or other underlying issues.
Okay.
And the Senate and the County Assembly must be one.
All right, all right. Thank you, sir. Soon to be, Dr. Kyogora, your one big fix.
There is a bill that is lying in the Senate called the Impeachment Procedure Bill. It needs to be enacted. It needs to be assented to by the President. It's going to set the procedure for impeachment. It's going to simplify it. It's going to make it very clear. And it's going to protect county assemblies from courts that block impeachment out of inducements.
All right, all right. Thank you. We are out of time, but I will give 3 people at random to just give us their big fix. Let's start with the gentleman from Isuka, and then the lady from, where are you from? That place. And then we'll hear from, okay, we'll add 2 more people. Quickly, please, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Thank you.
We've got 2 minutes to wrap up.
Can it
30
be fixed?
seconds.
The answer is yes. The answer, it can be fixed at the right, on the ballot box, when all animals will be made equal on this farm.
All right.
And the more equal animals will be dealt with at the ballot.
All right, thank you.
So much.
Animal farm reference, read. Next, let's get you, please. Grab a microphone. Yeah, give it to her. Then you're next.
Yes.
30 seconds.
Truly, it can be fixed through one, the political parties, when they'll be giving them nomination document certificates, and secondly, through the voting in 2027. With the young people, if we made it last year, then 2027, we can elect leaders with integrity.
All right, thank you so much. Quickly, please, from Umajatu.
I believe it can be fixed. Number one, there's an issue. MPs have no impeachment process. That was tried through Passaris, and it was noticed that the IBC noticed. So it should be worked on, because they are the people who are working on these laws. Number 2, let us drain the swamp. That is the best way to fix it.
Thank you. And lastly, sir.
So I think we can fix it, and fixing it, we are going to fix the people who are implementing it, and these people are implementing the work of oversight, and we are going to fix the legislature.
How?
So talking of as a young person of this country and as a Gen Z, what we are going to do is in 2027, we are going to deal with the legislature, the legislative arm. We are going to fix the people we are going to send in our county assemblies in our national assembly, so that even in terms of representation, they represent as well.
Thank you. Very clear. Lastly, please, quickly.
It can be fixed by sending William Samoei Ruto home. We all know that is the problem of this country, and we do not have to wait for 2027 as the young people. We have all seen what Nepal has done, and we can follow suit, and we can send him home.
Oh, all right. All right. So I want to make a special thank you to the people who are watching us from home. We've got John Maina watching from Naivasha, Ronald Odwar, Catherine Mudeu. We've got Isaiah Wafula. I've got Dee Chebet, who's bigging up Dr. Eric Bet. Snyder Kakai, Chalombui, Mabeche Traders, Jackson Zangi, Benny Almasi, Eli, Ruel Jr., Dee Chebet again, Kenneth Kaharia, Kirimi, Brio Kamlesh. We've got Kipkoech Bet again, Sharon the teacher. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Dee Chebet is her favorite word of the show is dunderhead. So, and on that note, I want to thank you for choosing us to inform you this evening. I want to thank you for participating. Ladies and gentlemen in the room, asanteni sana. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for your time. May God bless you and may God bless Kenya. Good night and God bless you.